Okay, I don't know what happened. I exited out for some reason. But, okay, put that whole thing into your calculator, and you'll get x squared equals 475.2147841. Then we just have to square root both sides to get the x by itself, and you get 21.8. So x equals 21.8. Okay? Let's go to this next one. Same exact thing. So this is going to be x squared equals 15 squared plus 17 squared minus 2 times 15 times 17 times the cosine of 39. Put the whole thing in your calculator. Square root both sides. You get x equals 10.8. Okay, make sure when you're putting that in your calculator, if you're not getting that same number that I'm getting, check that your calculator is in degree mode. This has to be in degree mode. Okay. Okay, let's go to this next one. So now we're still finding sides, but we're given measurements. We're not given a triangle. So let's draw our triangle, A, B, and C. Now, angle B is 106 degrees. AB is 10. BC is 7. I have to find AC. So I'm just going to call that x. So this is going to be x squared plus 10, or x squared equals 10 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 10 times 7 times the cosine of 106. Put the whole thing into your calculator and you get 187.589, blah, blah. Square root both sides. You get x equals 13.7. Okay? Now let's get into finding angles. So now I'm given side, side, side triangle. I have to find angles for this. So I need to figure out what's the opposite side and which ones are my adjacent sides. So the angle I'm trying to find is that x right there. The opposite side of x is 8. And so my adjacent sides are 10 and 11. So then I'm going to plug this in. So it's opposite side, which is 8, equals adjacent side, so 11 squared, plus adjacent side, 10 squared, minus 2 times 11 times 10 times the cosine of x. Okay, now let's just square everything out. So I get 64 equals 121 plus 100 minus 2 times 110, because 11 times 10 is 110, cosine of x. Now 121 plus 100 is 221, so it's 64 equals 221 minus 2 times 110 is 220, cosine of x. Don't subtract those right there, because that 220 is with that cosine of x. So I'm going to subtract the 221 over, and I get negative 157 equals negative 220 cosine of x. Then I have to get the cosine of x by itself, so divide by negative 220, and you get cosine of x equals 157 divided by 220. And remember, to get an angle, you always do the inverse. So this is going to be cosine inverse of 157 over 220 equals x. Put that in your calculator, and you get 44.5 degrees. Okay, let's go through another example of that. So again, we have to label opposite side and my adjacent sides. 16 is my opposite, 13 and 5 are my adjacent. So that's going to be 16 squared equals 13 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 13 times 5 times the cosine of x. Okay, so that's 256 equals 169 plus 25 minus 2. 13 times 5 is 65, then cosine of x. Subtract 169 right there, I guess. Wait one sec. Yeah, what the heck? I didn't mean to subtract that 169. So combine 169 and 25, so that's 194. Now subtract 194, and that's 256 minus 194 is 64 equals negative 130 cosine of x. Divide by negative 130, you get cosine of x equals 64 divided by 130, negative 64 divided by 130, which means x equals cosine inverse of negative 64 over 130. Put that in your calculator and you get 119.5. Okay, let's do another one. So again, this time we're given measurement, so we have to draw our triangle. So LMN. LM is 25, MN is 20, and LN is 24. This isn't drawn to scale. Okay, so we have to find L. Now, that's the opposite side. Those other two sides are my adjacent sides. So this is going to be 20 squared equals 25 squared plus 24 squared minus 2 times 25 times 24 times the cosine of L. Square that all out, and you get 400 equals 625 plus 576 minus 1,200 cosine of L. So that's 400 equals 1,201 minus 1,200. Holy. Okay, sorry, I keep getting interrupted. So now we have 400 equals 1,201 minus 1,200 cosine of L. Subtract that over, you get negative 801 equals 1,200, negative 1,200 cosine of L. Divide by that, and so you get cosine of L equals 801 divided by 1,200. So then cosine equals, or L equals cosine inverse of 801 divided by 1,200. Put it in your calculator and you get 48.1. Okay, we're going to save the word problems for class. I'm sure you guys can figure them out if you go through them if you want to. And remember to take the quiz. I'll see you tomorrow. Sorry about all the interruptions and craziness.